Welcome to BST Weekly. I'm Michael Coleman. This is Joey Caney. I'm only joking.
Nice little impression there, I don't mind it. We haven't got Tim, but welcome guys. This is BST Weekly. As he said, I'm Joey. This is Michael Coleman, the esteemed Michael Coleman. And let me just read a few little stats for you guys at home so you know. Definitely necessary because you have some sort of record, Michael. Obviously, you are a basketball hero. You hail from the Mafra Basketball Association. That's in Gippsland. You pretty much carried the Mafra basketball team on your shoulders to the state championships. Is this true?
Oh, I wouldn't say.
Very humble. 8-time league champion in Mafra. True?
Oh, look, we already
very heavily team. And also, you come from a very, very esteemed pedigree with your wonder coach, Charlie Coleman.
Yeah, look, I learned a lot from him growing up. Get back in the young days.
So humble. But, Michael, now the Mafra, they are the Mafra Eagles, true?
Yes, they are.
Mafra Eagles, and they wear the colours...
Black and red.
Black and red with the pop colour of white, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I think you would.
That's right. And you were such a big name back then, weren't you? You really were, weren't you?
Oh, look, a family well known, I suppose.
And the Mafra Eagles, the red and black, it's to my knowledge, you really liked basketball teams called the Magic back in the day, didn't you? Like the Melbourne Magic, you loved the Magic name, didn't you?
I did.
And you loved the idea of Mafra being called the Mafra Magic, true?
Look, it wouldn't be a bad idea.
It wouldn't be a bad idea. Wow, Michael, let me show you something. Is it true that you personally got the Mafra Eagles basketball name changed to the Mafra Magic? Is that true? Is this your warm-up top, Michael?
Look, it might be.
No, very well done. We'll leave that one there, I think, for the viewers at home. But
I think before you go,
yes,
quick shout out to the Mafra Basketball Association.
Yes, of course.
They've done a fabulous job, and they're still going strong.
We do both hail from there, and we owe a lot of what we know about basketball to those guys. So
produced many a fine basketballer, I believe.
Oh, over the years, yourself included, Michael. Anyway, we push on. Let's get into the NBA and the quick bits for this week. We'll go through them pretty quickly. Michael, you ready? Ready to handle them?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's go. The Hawks, they're talking trade offers for Josh Smith.
Yeah, I think this is probably a good one. I think they should get rid of him.
You think it's time?
I think it's time.
Is he worth a max contract to Josh Smith? Because he's been around about the All-Star team for a few years now, and he wants a max deal. And the Hawks, well, two questions: should the Hawks let him go? And if so, which teams would be looking at him?
Look, I think most teams might be looking at him. I think for him personally, it's probably better for him to leave. I think he'll probably get more out of leaving and going to a team like, your big teams like maybe a Boston or a Chicago Bulls.
Yep.
I think they can get more out of him. But look, I think the way he's going, if he keeps it up for the rest of the year, I think he probably is worth that max contract.
Yeah, I agree. He's a really talented player, and I think he should be chasing a ring now, and it doesn't look to me as though Atlanta are in a position to win that, given their current roster, especially losing Joe Johnson, as we know, to the Brooklyn Nets at the start of the year. So Massive loss, and it's time for both companies to part ways, in my mind, and I wonder what type of deal they'll get for him.
Unless the Hawks can make some big trades and get some big players,
well,
I think it's best for him to move on.
Exactly right. But we move on. The 76ers go. This isn't as good news. 76ers guard Jason Richardson, he's gone for the season. He's down with a knee injury, to my knowledge.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Especially in a game like basketball, the knee takes a lot of pressure, and it's hard to get back. As we can see, Ricky Rubio,
yep,
in the knee.
Yep,
it's definitely very hard to get back.
And Derrick Rose as well, who's still on his way back. So
yeah, no, it's gonna be very hard. It's not good to hear that news,
especially because he's an older guy as well, and he hasn't got that many years left in the league. So I mean, could be almost curtains for Jason, I think. So it's around about that time. So very sad because he's been a great player for so many years now. So,
yes.
But speaking of trades, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Bulls declare interest in JJ Redick.
Yeah, I've heard about this one. This is an interesting one.
It is.
Look, I'm not too sure. I don't know if, especially the Bucks, the position they're in, whether they should be going for this. What is he, 27, 28-year-old?
Yep.
Coming towards the end of his career, is he going to be there when they're challenging?
That's a good question. They're shopping around Samuel Dallenberg. He's been getting so much game time recently, and he's really made the most of it. We know he can score. He's a great offensive player. He's put up some crazy numbers over the last few games he's played in. But I think they're trying to shop him and trying to get other teams interested in him to try and offload him, because I think they're looking to make some moves. But for the Magic's sake, in terms of trading Redick and what they would get for him, definitely the Magic are in full rebuild mode, and they've looked to bring in kids, and some of the kids have been named in the Rising Star game, which we'll touch on later. But I don't think they're looking to bring in an older guy like Samuel Dallenberg. I don't think that fits their long-term plans. I think probably the only real piece that Milwaukee has that the Magic would be interested in is a guy like Henson, who seems to be just... Larry Sanders has absolutely pushed him out of the rotation, and Henson has shown a lot for mine, and if they were willing to deal him, I think that trade would be made.
Well, look, that is, not to undervalue Redick. He's a fantastic player and he'd be handy in any team. But, are Bucks willing? Are they in their rebuilding phase? Are they willing to get rid of a young player for someone that old?
Well, that's the question. Is obviously they got Jennings, and they brought in Monte Ellis. I don't know where they are in their rebuilding phase. I really don't, because it seems so higgledy-piggledy. I like the idea of them moving on the older guys, but it doesn't work that easily. So
yeah, it's a tough one. Personally, I wouldn't. If I was the Bucks, I wouldn't take him.
Yep.
But look, if the right situation comes up, he might go.
What about the Bulls?
The Bulls. Well, look, they're going to be up there. He could be a handy asset to come in. I mean, especially Rose coming back, and who came back recently?
We've got Taj Gibson, and Boozer was injured and he's come back in. Noah's come back in from injury, so Lowell Deng's been injured and back in the park as well.
He could be a valuable player, especially that old, the mature that comes with it to lead the young ones. He could be a valuable asset.
Well, he is a good leader. We know that from his Duke days as well, so we watch with interest on that one there. But now, speaking of a team that may or may not have been watching BST Weekly, you might remember, Michael, if you've been tuning into the show.
Yes, I've been watching.
We've given a few sprays to Boston over the journey, and we have mentioned that when Rondo went down, we thought they would be done for the year, completely done, and we called them out and said, time to blow it up right now. But, Michael, they have gone on a 7-game win streak since he's gone down.
Yeah, they've proven you wrong there, haven't they?
Absolutely, they have.
They've certainly come out, whether they heard you or not, they've come out and they've blasted out of the water. They've proven that they're not a one-man show.
They're not.
They've got many players.
Well, and I want to get your thoughts on this, because I'm really strong on this. I think, obviously, losing Ray Allen was a big one for them. The original big three, in Garnett, Pierce, and Allen, and Rondo pretty much made his own stardom as a rookie coming in there. But now that Allen's gone, Garnett's getting on. He's dropped off completely in his numbers and his production. And Pierce I still love. He's still producing quite well for him. But with Rondo down, is it time to let some of these big guys go and chase some rings and blow it up and get a lot of pieces so they can build from the bottom again?
Look, yeah, it's an option. It's definitely an option for them. And look, you think they've challenged the last few years, and they haven't quite got there. And these players, Garnett, like you said, they're getting towards the end. They're not producing the best that they did.
That's right.
It's a big worry for the future. They are great players, but is it worth holding on to them? Is it going to, ruin their chances the next 5 years? Are they going to, is it better off getting the other players in challenging right now while they've got the players around them like Rondo and Pierce and that? Or do they just let him go? It's a tough one.
What do you think their chances are this year?
This year, look, if they keep going the way they're going, they could probably, make a good effort, but I don't think there's any chance. You get Miami and Oklahoma, they're not going to beat them with the players they've got.
I wouldn't have thought so either. I'm with you on that one. But we move on. Just by the next week's show, this is the last little quick bit we'll finish on. By the next time we catch up with you guys at home, Andrew Bynum could have potentially had his first game for the Sixers. How big is it for those guys?
Oh, that's exciting. That is exciting. That is a big in for them. A very big in. He's a great player. I mean, he's just going to take control of the court and, hopefully get a few wins on the board.
Well, he complained that he didn't get the touches he wanted when he was at LA, and the ball was, obviously was being monopolised by Kobe and Powell, and he showed how damaging he could be on that team though at the Lakers. And now that Jason Richardson's gone down, who wasn't I mean, he's a starter on his day for them, but Bynum can potentially pick up some of the offensive slack that they lose in Jason Richardson, and they can potentially have a real push towards the playoffs and do some damage at the later end of the year.
Yeah, well, look, it's you can look at these the positive way, and I suppose him being out for so long, it's given the chance for those the bench players to come on and actually get some form.
Yep.
I mean, Spencer Hawes has been getting minutes lately, and I mean, it's going to be handy having him come off the bench now, the way he can play, and the confidence he's built while Bynum's been out.
Well, he can be so damaging offensively, and I think a guy like Spencer Hawes is really suited to a role off the bench. I think he can come on and provide that instant type offense that you really look for in a 6-man type of guy. And I think this team's almost built around having Andrew Bynum on the court, and when he's there, if he's fit and healthy, and they'll be flying, I think, with him. But will it take him more to get back into the rhythm and the swing of things?
Oh well, most players do. What was he out for again? Was it
no, his knees are absolutely horrible. He had actually had some type of injection put into his knees, and he apparently it's going to leave him pain free for 6 months. So
yeah, well, it's tough to say, especially a big man. You'd hope that he comes in well. He's obviously getting the right treatment and coming back. You think if he's right to play, he's right to play. Absolutely. I mean, there's no point having him in going 50%. Although he's a good player, I think the way they've been going, there's no risk there. I think he'll come in and maybe give him a game or two, but I reckon it won't take long. It won't take long to be putting up good numbers.
Couldn't agree more. Let's move into the next phase of our show. The big issues. We're going to talk about a few really interesting issues here, and the first one I know you're going to love this, because I know who doesn't love this man, and we'll get to it straight away. Anton Jamison, that's not the man I'm talking about. Anton Jamison, I'm going to read a direct quote from him. I wouldn't doubt that in the right situation, with a LeBron or a Kobe Bryant on this team, he would get you about 10 or 11 points and come in and play 15 to 20 minutes. Who do you think he's talking about?
Oh, I don't know. He gets as good as mine.
Michael Jordan. His Annas himself.
Michael Jordan.
That's right.
Oh, geez, give me a million years, I wouldn't have guessed that.
He's 50 this year, Michael Jordan. And this is a guy, Anton Jamison, 36 years old, saying that he could come in and give you those type of stats. Glowing endorsement?
That's, well, he's a great player. I mean, he's one of the best that's ever played the game.
He is. He's the best.
Look, you're not going to come out and say he's going to play shit, are you?
No, true.
Look, he's 50. Wow. That's a big call. It'd be amazing if he could. How good would that be?
I mean, he's in his prime at 25. It's double. It's a long... He played his last game when he was 40, I think. Yeah, when he was 40. So that's 10 years out of the game.
Being a Jordan fan, and look, growing up, I suppose I didn't get to watch as much of his games as I would have liked. I would love to see him come back and just watch him dominate. I'd love to. But at 50, I think, your body just, you can't do the things that they used to do.
That's right.
Because he had the game for too long. Is the game sped up?
Well, you think it has.
Yeah. I suppose, is his shot's going to be shit?
Well,
Sorry for that word.
It's a guards league now, and we speak all the time about how the death of the bigs and how the bigs don't have an impact. And back in Jordan's day, it was a big man's league. The big guys dominated. They shot more than 50% of the field, and they averaged more than 25 points. Now, no big averages more than 20 points and shoots better than 50%. So that's a real damning stat for bigs in the league. And the speed and quickness of guards, like Rondo's injured, but he's the main one. But Westbrook and every point guard almost in the league and shooting guard in the league have so much athleticism and agility. And could he compete with those type of guys? Could he defend them?
No, I don't think he could. I think, the game's certainly changed, and there's that many good players in there now that I just think he wouldn't be utilised like you said he used to, the big men. I think... I think his time's over. Unfortunately, I'd love to see him come back.
Well,
Anton James's books, I would love to see him come back and dominate like he used to.
It would be amazing. It would be a ratings absolute. The jerseys would be flying off the shelf.
Well, he could always come back for a fans game.
He could
come back and see if he's still got it.
Sign him to a 10-day contract.
Yeah, you never know.
But at his Hall of Fame speech, he he was almost vitriolic in some of what he said, and he was very sort of damning, and he's almost challenging everybody. And he said things along the line of never say never, and the only thing holding you back is your own perception and your imagination. And he actually said in his Hall of Fame speech, "Who knows? I could be playing when I'm 50. There's nothing stopping me doing that." So maybe that was a bit of a precursor to all this talk about him coming back now.
Wow, it wouldn't send the media into a spin. Look, if that was to happen, if he was to come back, fans would flock in their thousands, their hundreds of thousands, just to watch him.
Charlotte need a bit of a vamp, and obviously co-owner of the Charlotte Bobcats, and obviously he'd be that team that he come and played with. But I don't know if he has the help on the court. I think it'd be a big struggle, and I'd hate to see him come back and for the Bobcats to just get whacked across the ears and Jordan to get absolutely hammered, and I just would hate to see that.
Now, look, if he was going to come back, I think he'd have to have a good team around him. I mean, he's not going to be able to dominate and take on 2 or 3 blokes like he used to. He needs the players around him, and look, Charlotte just don't have those players at the moment.
Not yet. They're building though, which is good. But let me read you. Bismack Biyombo has also said he's still got it, and that's after he went and practiced with Bismack on the team. So he has got support out there. But a couple of facts. Jordan averaged 20 points per game in 37 minutes, and that was in his last season when he played it when he was 40. So that's a lot of minutes for a 40-year-old, and you wouldn't put past him to come in and play 15 odd, I don't reckon.
Well, look, yeah, I suppose coming off the bench, if you can hit down those threes and give you 10, 15 points, I mean, a couple of rebounds here, assists, I mean, he'd still have, the athletic ability and the awareness, I suppose, to play really good basketball. I suppose just whether his body can hold up.
It'd be amazing to see him in an ISO with about 8 seconds, the clock ticking down, 1 possession game. Wouldn't that just be something else to see that again? He'd have his whole bag of tricks, wouldn't he?
Oh, he'd certainly be the one player you wouldn't want him run down the clock and hold on to it the whole time.
Exactly. But there's something about Jamison before we move on. He said this about Jordan. He said he'd come in and give you about 10 or 11 points in about 15 to 20 minutes a game if he played with a player like a LeBron or a Kobe on his team, right? Jamison himself averages 8.1 points a game in 20.5 minutes per game. And he plays with Kobe, and he's only 36. So what's he saying?
Well, is he saying that he's lucky to still be playing NBA?
I don't know.
Well, it's a glowing endorsement for Michael Jordan, isn't it?
It really is. The first. I'll tell you a little bit of a story. The first game I ever watched of the NBA. Obviously, we're in Melbourne, and it's hard to get NBA. Back in the mid-90s, it was on free to air, but it was very, very late at night. When you're a kid and you have a bedtime, when you're 8 years old, tough to watch. We watched the NBL, the Australian version, but the first ever NBA game I watched in full. I'd seen highlights, but the first ever game I watched in full was Game 6 of the 96-97 playoff series. That was Chicago versus Seattle, and I was so excited to watch it. At the time, believe it or not, I actually made a poster comparing Sean Kemp to Michael Jordan, and I rated all the areas of their game, and offense, defense, and all that type of thing, and I come to the conclusion that Kemp was better. And I watched the game. The Bulls whacked him around the ears, and they won that game, and that was the final game of the series, and they won the championship. And from then on, I loved the Bulls, and I loved Jordan and Rodman and Pippen and Luke Longley, obviously the Aussie, and just one of the great memories. So if he could, to see him nowadays, just for 2 minutes, I would give anything. So I hope it happens.
Yeah, I do too. I hope it does. For the game, it would just it'd be unbelievable,
wouldn't it? Anyway, we push on. That's a bit sentimental, guys, but we'll push on to something a little more at hand. The All-Star Weekend, that's coming up this weekend.
Yep.
Not too long or far away. We've gone through the All-Star teams already, but all the other teams and all the other contest participants have been announced. So let's get into the Rising Stars Challenge, which is, it used to be rookies versus sophomores, but now it's changed to rookies and sophomores are combined. You have 2 coaches who pick their teams, and we have a look at those guys. Team Shaq, the team that Shaq's picked. First cab off the rank, Damian Lillard from Portland, obviously. Rookie of the Year, probably, at this stage.
be close.
Kyrie Irving from Cleveland, who's had a really great year.
Oh, he's been unbelievable. I mean, Cleveland have done well. They've done well, and after losing LeBron, you thought they'd go downhill.
We thought it'd be a long time before they come back.
Yes, he did, and he's been instrumental to Cleveland this year, and he's an unbelievable player.
He really is. Klay Thompson from Golden State and Harrison Barnes as well. They've had a great year.
Oh yeah, Klay Thompson. He's a bit rocky at the start. I thought towards probably December, I suppose. He's really picked up. Come January, he's playing some amazing basketball. He can play.
It certainly helps having a guy like Steph Curry next to him, doesn't it?
Definitely. It's good to learn. I suppose someone like that running plays and telling you where to go. It's obviously helped his game. He's become a great player, I suppose.
He has, deserving of his spot, that's for sure. Chandler Parsons from Houston, who's had a really good year. He's come on leaps and bounds, I think. A personal favourite of mine. Dion Waiters, really high pick. He's from Cleveland as well. Hasn't had the best year to date, but deserving of the spot. Just?
Look, yeah, I think he is. There's not that many out there to pick that have had great years.
Great call.
You're always going to have some that have below par, but he's definitely got the talent and he should be there.
Yep, good call. I agree. It's sort of a bereft of young rising stars in these two teams, but we push on. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, who really highly touted from Charlotte, but he's really dropped off as well.
He has. I think he's lucky to get a spot.
Yep.
But his
name alone, isn't it?
His early form, I suppose, has got him in there.
Lucky for mine, very lucky. Tyler Zeller, he's another one from Cleveland who he's picking up minutes now that Varejau's gone down. So good to see him in there and given a chance. I think he's not he hasn't got a very good basketball IQ for mine, but he's big and athletic, so we'll see how he goes. Kemba Walker from Charlotte, who's we know and love, and I love Kemba, and he's the future of the Charlotte Bobcats.
He's great to watch, isn't he?
He is. And Andre Drummond, who obviously was injured, so now he's been withdrawn from the team. Who just quickly though, Andre Drummond had a great year, and he will be one for the future.
Yeah,
good tool to be around in Detroit.
He's last on that list, but definitely would have been one of the first ones picked, I believe.
Yep,
he's had a great year.
I agree, and he's been replaced by Andrew Nicholson from the Magic, who he is really, really good offensively. He looks like a giraffe moving around the court, though. He's the most uncoordinated basketball player you've seen in a long time. But if it wasn't going to be him, he would pretty much the last cab off the rank. There was no one else, was there?
Nah, I don't think so. He's lucky to get a spot in there. But,
very lucky.
Hopefully he proves them wrong.
Well,
he comes
exactly.
in and dominates, but I don't see it happening.
We move on to Team Chuck. The first one, Anthony Davis, the number one pick from New Orleans Pelicans.
Yep, he's a great player. Yes.
What do you think of the Pelicans' name, by the way?
I actually don't mind it. Yeah. I was a bit sceptical at the start, but look, they've done it well. Yeah, I think it fits.
It's not intimidating, but it has a sort of bit of heart and soul about it, doesn't it?
It does. I think they've made it their own, definitely. I suppose no one would have expected it, but look, great things.
The only thing I would have done differently is probably in the emblem. I would have loved to see him go to those 90s cartoon type of pelican with a basketball hanging out, he's spinning his finger with a cap on, or something in his eye, a bit of pipe, or who knows. But that would have been amazing. But anyway, that's all right. Kenneth Faried from Denver, who is a rebounding beast. And he actually features in the slam dunk contest as well. So big weekend for him.
Very big weekend.
Kawhi Leonard from the San Antonio Spurs. And Bradley Beal from Washington, who I know is a player on your radar.
Bradley Beal, look, I've been watching closely, and look, he's had good stretches of some really good form and some good basketball, but for mine, he's a bit rocky at times. I mean, you can come out one game, shoot 15 points, 8 rebounds, name it, and then next week he'll come out and 2 from 10 from the field, and he'll only grab 2 rebounds. I mean, he's I suppose he's limited at Boston. They've got
Washington.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah, look, he's limited in minutes, I suppose, but he's working his way up there, and look, he's getting there, I'd say.
Do you think a streaky shooter like Bradley Beal, who has all the offensive talent in the world but struggles to put it together, do you think it helps or hinders him having a guy like John Wall back?
Oh, look, personally, I would think that having a guy like that back would help, but in his case, I it isn't happening at the moment.
That's right.
I don't know, I'm a bit on and off. I don't mind him. I've looked at him a couple of times and he plays some good basketball, but it's patchy.
I think potential is the key word for him. He's been injured as well, but I think he has the potential. Whether he can put it together, as you said, is the thing. But Ricky Rubio, another one of your guys from Minnesota.
Minnesota fan back in the day when Garnett was there, and
who wasn't?
Yeah, well, exactly. He's great to watch then. But look, that's fantastic to see him back, and he's still moving. A bit. Not as good as he used to. I mean, he was lightning when he came in off rookies, and look, he's getting there, and hopefully he can pick up some speed and get his movement back. And I'd love to see Minnesota start pushing up there again.
Ricky Rubio is one of those guys you love to watch play. His assists and just his court vision and awareness he's off the charts. He's in a league of his own in that regard for mine.
Look, if Kevin Love out too, I mean, if you have both them back, that's unbelievable, isn't it?
It really is, and that's part of the reason why they're not pushing for a playoff spot. But Tristan Thompson, another one from Cleveland, so a few guys there from the Cavaliers.
Yeah, they've been playing well.
Nick Vucevic from the Magic, who thoroughly deserved, in my opinion.
Definitely. He has had a blinder.
The Dwight Howard trade saga, obviously, the Magic were criticised for not getting an all-star caliber type guy back. They could have got Bynum back, but they didn't want him. They could have tried to get Iggy in, but they didn't want Iggy either. So Rob Hennigan really wanted to architect a team built around young guys, and I think Nick Vucevic, who had only started a few games for Philadelphia, I think he's one of the guys that was completely overlooked in the trade, and obviously they've seen something in him, and given the right opportunity, he's flourished this year.
Oh, he's most people probably wouldn't have picked it at the start of the year, like you said, and it's been a great trade in the end, isn't it?
It is.
He's been unbelievable.
They've had a terrible year wins-loss wise, but he is a foundation member of that club, and they got to sign him up and keep him there. Because
hopefully they keep him there because he's unbelievable.
He is.
He's great to watch.
What a talent. Brandon Knight from Detroit, another one there who is, again, another one of these guys who's so talented. Isaiah Thomas from Sacramento.
Yeah, look for him to have a big next half of the year, I think, or towards the end of the year. He's come along nicely, I think.
Yep.
He's probably the same as Bradley Beal, but I'd say he's shown a lot more.
Yep.
A lot more. Be a bit patchy, but he's definitely got some talent, and I think he's getting some consistent minutes, and he's playing some good basketball.
Well, he just needs to be nurtured, doesn't he? As you said, he has the talent. Alexei Shved, the last one, rounding out there from Minnesota as well, who's come over from Europe and hasn't had the same type of impact as Ricky Rubio, but he's still added something to that team.
Yeah, look, I hadn't heard much from him at the start of this year, and he's certainly pushing his name up there, isn't he? He's playing some good basketball and definitely deserves his spot.
Couldn't agree more. The celebrity game, sort of bereft of real big games this year. We have a look here, but Nick Cannon and Neo and these type of names. But the one for mine, and I know a personal favourite of yours, Michael, Usain Bolt himself will be in the game.
Look, I think that'll be fantastic. I was disappointed around the time the Olympics finished. He was going to come out and play some cricket, I think, in Australia.
Yes, that's right.
And Australian Cricket Board were against it. Did not want it. Thought it was just a hoo-ha and just no point. It's going to draw fans away from the game. And I think it's fantastic. I'd love to see him get out there and show some other talents.
Here's the situation for you, all right? The opposite team takes a shot. It's rebounded. Usain Bolt takes off. Would you love to see just an outlet pass thrown to him and see what he can do on the run down the other end of the court?
Yeah, look, I'd love to see the team playing man on man.
Yep.
And I'd just love to see him take off. Just throw the ball down there and just watch him.
Do you know what his ball skills are like? I haven't seen anything of him playing basketball.
Well, apparently he's good at sport, I've heard, but I haven't seen it, obviously. But look, he's getting out there and he wants to play, obviously, cricket and now basketball. He's obviously got some talent there, I think.
Love putting his name forward, Usain Bolt. A bit of a look at me type of guy, but we love that about him.
Well, we'd definitely, if he could dunk, we'd definitely see some good celebrations, that's for sure.
Oh, I hope he can dunk. Wouldn't that be something else? Anyway, we move on to the skills challenge. Anthony Parker, to defend his title, he'll be in it again. But I think it'll be a really interesting battle, in particular between Jeremy Lin and Damian Lillard, who two really up and coming. We know about the insanity, but Lillard as well, up and coming point guard.
Yeah, look, Lillard has had a great year, and he's definitely got his spot in the team there, the All-Star team, and Jeremy Lin, wow, hasn't he? I suppose not as big a commotion as was last year at Houston.
Yes, at Houston after New York.
But look, when Arden's been out, he's flourished, hasn't he?
He has.
He's had some great games, and look, he's having a consistent season. He's definitely.
He was never going to reach the heights of, I don't think, Linsanity in New York, because he got off straight off the bat and he was absolutely smashed it. So, given that if any other player, and if you imagine that Linsanity never happened in New York, and this is just a guy who's come through the ranks and he's starting for Houston without any fanfare, you look at this guy and say, gee, he's a real talent. He's something to look out for.
He is, and like it's shown. Like most people probably wouldn't have thought coming across that team, he wouldn't play well at all. But he's definitely fit in there, and he's playing a good role.
Exactly. We move on. The slam dunk contest. For mine this year, they need a few more bigger names. Not so many, as you can see. Not too many big names. But Jeremy Evans to defend his title. But Kenneth Faried will have to star in this. Kenneth Faried, for mine, is a lock to win that.
I'd love to see him just take it out. It'd be fairy tale, wouldn't it?
It will be a beast. It'll be something to watch out for. But the 3-point contest is the one for mine. Kevin Love can't defend his title because of his injury, obviously. For mine, the two to watch out for, Kyrie Irving and Ryan Anderson, who are absolutely dynamite from outside the arc. Curry has accepted, so he'll be there. We spoke, I think it was last week, about Curry being snubbed for the All-Star team and had to decide whether he'd participate in the 3-point contest, because for mine, Steph Curry's probably third on the MVP race. That's how good a year he's had. And to be snubbed for the All-Star team, by the people, understandable, I guess, because it's, they can't really control it, but by the coaches, it is an absolute disgrace. And if I was him, I wouldn't have accepted. I wouldn't have gone and I wouldn't have entered the 3-point contest. He's better than that, and it's an absolute disgrace.
It was. I think everyone was shocked when his name wasn't read out. It is... how he doesn't get in, I still can't believe it. It's unbelievable.
Neither can
I. Look, I suppose he could, but look, the media, they could put up anything if he doesn't come in that.
Yeah, well, true.
But look, personally, you could probably snub it. I would, probably.
Had to do it for PR, I suppose, you're right. But JJ Redick, the 3-point specialist, he's tweeted... For those, this is
direct quote, snubbed.
For those that have inquired, I was not asked to be in the 3-point contest. I would have been honoured to participate in it, and I would have won it. So
big call.
Well, but true call.
Definitely
though.
Worth it. Yes, you said it before. 3-point specialist. How can you not be picked for the 3-point?
Well, for mine, he's the best 3-point shooter in the league. And again, the NBA has made a wrong decision on that one. They've gone with names, but not on for mine. Terrible call.
It's just that's another one. I don't know how he didn't get in. Someone that good.
I'm with you, mate. So now we move to a really, really interesting part of the show. It's going to be a BST exclusive. Here it is for you, Michael.
Big news.
You're in on this. This is really, really interesting for mine anyway. Let's run you through it. Huge news coming out of that we all know the Heat GM, Pat Riley, and we all know Eric Spoelstra, the coach, who is pretty much Pat Riley's puppet, really, if we're being honest. But obviously Spoelstra's the coach of the Heat, and he's also been named coach of the All-Star East team. Now, apparently... Pat Riley has told Eric Spoelstra to not let LeBron play with Kyrie Irving at the All-Star game, because apparently he's worried that they'll spark up a chemistry similar to, obviously, Dwayne Wade and Bosh at the Olympics. He's worried that they're going to spark up a type of friendship, a chemistry, an on-court chemistry like that, and that LeBron will be tempted to go back to Cleveland when his contract ends at Miami. And he'll have won rings at Miami, and he'll go back home, a massive homecoming thing, to play with Kyrie, who he'll have the support there then, and he'll be able to win rings there with those guys. So, and that's why Bosh is, and this is the most important point, that's why Bosh is, after Rondo's injury, so Rondo's out of the starting lineup, that's why Spoelstra is going to put Bosh into the starting lineup and not play LeBron and Kyrie on the court at the same time. What do you think about that?
Oh, isn't that big news?
It is.
Wow.
And it's
LeBron going back to the Cavs.
Wow.
Do you reckon they'd accept him back? Jeez, that were...
Well, some of the letters that were sent by the Cavaliers general manager after LeBron left, they were, derogatory, certainly, and you wouldn't think he would ever make it back there, but you just don't know in this funny world of basketball.
He's a star. You can't always send him back, can you? Wow, could they do that? Would they do that? I mean, this has stunned me.
Do you think it's a low ball act to not play them together? I mean, this is some serious coercive stuff going on here. And
well, look, you want your best team on the court. I mean, they want to win it. And you would think that Kyrie Irving would be in that five now.
We think that Kyrie Irving would be a straight, direct replacement for Rondo.
You would think so.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that's just logical.
Yeah.
Look, surely you just can't control those things. I mean, the spark up of chemistry. I mean, it's up to LeBron. If he's going to leave, he's going to leave. I suppose he can't delay the outcome.
Well, I don't even know that LeBron's got it in his head. I think LeBron's travelling along a straight line. He's not even contemplating moving back to Cleveland at this point. I think it's more of a preemptive, don't let them play together so nothing starts.
Yeah.
But, look, for mine, it's a bit... the thing is, normally when I hear something like this, I'd say that is an absolute joke, that's a stupid, that would never happen. But... the pieces kind of add up on this, and it kind of makes actual sense. I know it sounds really stupid, but if you really think about all the pieces and what, the fact that Pat Riley wants him to stay at Miami, and the fact that the reason LeBron left Cleveland in the first place was because of Bosh and Wade and his chemistry with those guys playing on the Olympic team, it could actually make sense. Yeah,
well, look, it's if he does love Cleveland, he could want to go back, and they've got the players now.
They do.
Well, we'll keep on that. I think that's some big news.
With Varejao will be coming back from injury by then, so he was already there when LeBron was there, but Varejao coming back from injury. They picked up Maurice Spates, who will be really important for them, I think, coming off the bench. And obviously they've got Tyler Zeller as well, another big. So the big's pretty much covered. Now they've got Kyrie Irving and Dion Waiters, who's a talent as well, in the guards. That is... it is a perfect fit, Michael, it is. He's a perfect fit at Cleveland.
It's not going to last forever at the Heat, is it?
No, it's not.
Well, look, all eyes will be on whether they on the court at the same time, won't it?
It's a massive call, this one. I know we're going out on a limb here, and odds on that in the first minute they'll be on the court together, and this whole BST exclusive will be blown out of the water, but seriously, look out for it, guys. If they don't take the court together... We've called it here first on BST, and we will be definitely talking about it next week, no matter what happens.
It'll be interesting to see.
It really will. Let's move on to some more interesting matters in terms of current standings and rankings in the NBA. Let's have a look at the standings at this point in time in the year. We look at the Eastern Conference here first, Michael. Miami on top, New York second. That's been that way for almost all of the year, and Indiana in third, who are still chugging along.
Look, I can't see that changing much. I think Miami and New York will probably sit in the top two. I don't think, although Indiana going well, that they'll move up.
But Chicago in fourth there, when Rose come back, that record will change, and I think they could I almost think they could push for a top two spot, though.
Yeah, look, they've got the talent to do it. I still see Miami and New York sitting up top.
Yep. Good call. Brooklyn in fifth. They're talented. They'll be around about. Atlanta, having not the greatest year of all, but they push on. And Boston on this 7-game win streak. It's amazing. And if they continue on with that, they can overtake Atlanta and Brooklyn.
Yeah, look, they're the dark horse, aren't they? You wouldn't have thought this was Rondo going out, but it's amazing. They're working their way up.
Do you think they can continue it on?
Look, they've shown it. They can. I reckon they could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's probably a couple of crucial games that if they get over the line, it will definitely boost them.
Good call. Milwaukee, who are looking for that shooting guard, as we spoke about earlier. They need to add something to that roster because at this stage, I don't see them making it.
Yeah, no, look, Philadelphia are coming on well. I think they could possibly edge them out.
Well, that's my thought too. I think with Bynum back, I think Philly will overtake Milwaukee there. Detroit in full rebuild mode. I think they'll just be happy to get through the year and have a decent sort of pick in the draft. Toronto should be expecting more, but their roster's gone through a lot of changes, but we push on. Cleveland, Orlando, not in the greatest spot. Washington, Charlotte. I think Washington will push up and Charlotte will probably finish bottom, but Orlando will be looking for a high lottery pick as well.
Yeah, look, I think you're right there. I think Washington will probably get out of that bottom two, and Orlando won't be too sad about it.
Well, they got too much talent not to, don't they? I think they really will. It might even catch Cleveland there, I think, for Washington. But we push on to the Western Conference table here, and San Antonio on top, even without Duncan for that little stretch there. Oklahoma City in second. Do you see the Thunder catching them?
I think they should. Where they will is another story.
Good point. The Clippers, one of your boys, they're in third, having a pretty good year.
Yeah, look, I was worried at the start, but they've come on nicely and they've started to play some good basketball.
Do you think they're a real contender come playoff time?
I think if they get all their players back with Paul and even Billup's come back the other day.
That's right.
So, look, I reckon they're big contenders.
We move on to Memphis, who obviously that massive trade going down with. They got rid of Rudy Gay there. I still think they'll finish in fourth, but Denver have become a real challenger there, and they're a real worry, aren't they?
Yeah, look, I like Denver, and they're challenging, and I like to see that.
Dynamite side, aren't they? Great fun to watch as well, with Gallinari and Fareed, guys like that. But Golden State, I've been on these guys since the start of the year, and gee, I really hope they can push on, don't you? Because the revolution there has been nothing short of sensational.
Oh, look, they've got the talent, and that's where they should be, if not a bit higher, I think.
Yep, I hope they push on. Utah, who, middle of the road team, having a middle of the road year, they're stuck in that middle of the table mediocrity for mine. Houston, there you got young guys on their team, and they'll learn to play together, and this isn't their year this year, I don't think. Portland, who just lost to the Magic, who ended their 12-game losing streak to those guys, so they'll be really disappointed in that. But the Lakers, Michael, what do you think there?
Yeah, this is a surprising one. Look, no one would have picked them to be down there at the start of the year, I don't think. You would have been top two, I reckon.
Will they make it?
Oh, look, they're going to have to pull a big performance out of their ass to get there, I think.
They really are. And rounding it out, Dallas, Minnesota, Sacramento, New Orleans, and Phoenix holding up the table.
Yeah, look, I just want to mention about the Lakers. They are in trouble street. They're sitting down the bottom of the ladder, and Dwight Howard not performing like they thought he would, and look, Pau Gasol gone now. Wow, that's going to make it tough.
Well, it's not the same Dwight that was in Orlando, was it? And we've spoken about this before. He's a shadow of his former self at the Lakers. Definitely. Do you think he'll leave at the end of the year and get to Brooklyn where he wanted to go originally?
Look, I've thought about this, and Mark D'Antoni, he cannot afford Dwight to leave. If Dwight leaves, he's gone. That is the biggest mess. If Dwight comes, plays shit, he leaves, he's lost his job. I don't think he can afford for Dwight to leave, and I think that might just be enough to keep him there. Yeah, well, I think they have to throw everything in him. It's just whether Kobe and Dwight can find some type of semblance of teamsmanship, of chemistry. Obviously, Kobe's been through it before with big guys, and Shaq and the well-publicised spats, almost hatred of each other at times. So Kobe could just be that force where he just drives certain personalities away from him, and I think Dwight is probably the same type of personality as look at me type of guy, and yeah, then it's not working. But I think, as you said, they need to work it out, don't they? Yeah, I think they do, because I've got a feeling that Gasol's going to be the one that wants to leave as well, and they can't lose them both. Oh, they would be a world of hurt if they lost both those guys. But let's move on to something a bit more happy, a bit exciting. This is time for my pop of the week. Or pop of the night. Which one do you prefer? With to and fro to this name change? Pop of the night or pop of the week? I suppose it depends how big the pop is. This one, we might as well call it pop of the year, this one. Because this one is something else. Let's roll the footage here and have a look. Let's have a look. Here we have number 1 Indiana versus unranked Illinois. Look at the time, look at the score, and they win the game. Look at this. They have absolutely stormed the court. The upset. Oh my God! It's unbelievable. With no time left on the clock, Illinois putting the winner in there, and you can just see what it means to every one of these guys, can't you? Geez, isn't it good to see the creators run on the court like that and celebrate with the players? Oh, this is exactly why you love sport, Michael. It's why I love sport, and it just means so much to so many people. That was sensational, Michael. Absolutely, that was unbelievable. It just shows that, when you love about a game. Oh,
I said it just then, but I mean, it just makes me so happy for another. You don't need to follow any of the teams. You don't need to necessarily know anything about it, but to see that type of raw emotion, it's just sensational.
It is. You don't get that in the NBA, do you?
Well, not all the time, no. You definitely won't get anyone storming the court. That's for damn sure. But let's move on to something a little bit on the rougher side of life. We move from the pop down into the negative, and we'll bring it back up later. But of course, I talk about put a fork in it. Put a fork in it this week.
I've heard about this segment.
Yeah, well, it's a bit different. It's put a fork in it with a twist today, because normally put a fork in it is where I gun after an NBA player who has absolutely passed not their prime, they've passed their use by dates. They are done. They're completely finished. Put a fork in them. Get them out. They're finished. This one's a bit of a younger guy. Of course, I talk about Tyler Hansbrough from the Indiana Pacers. Now, I know he's young, and I know he was a star in college. Let's just... I've got a bit of college stats for you. Let me just say them out. He averaged 20 points and 8 rebounds on his esteemed college career at North Carolina, and he's one of the all-time leading scorers there, if not the all-time leading scorer. I'll have to check it up. I think he actually is, but he was an absolute gun in college, and good on him because he killed it. He's come to the NBA. It's not too bad of a career for himself so far, but he only averages 9.9 points and 4.8 rebounds in the NBA. So it's a bit down. It's less than half his production, but I guess that's expected.
Yeah, well, it's a big step up. And not all players can handle it, I suppose.
So you'd think I'm being pretty harsh on him.
Look, I think you are. A young player, you got to give him time, nurture him, I suppose. It does seem like you're being a bit harsh there.
What if I told you he's the world's biggest douchebag?
Well, I would hope you had something to back that up, because that is a big call.
Well, Michael, I do. Let's have a look at the footage here.
Yeah, that's such a harsh call.
Well, it is, Michael, but let's have a look at some of his action here. Toronto versus Indiana. Don't worry about the play so much. Watch Tyler Hansbrough at the back of the key there with Jonas Valanciunas, and watch what happens. They're under the basket there now. Valanciunas comes in. Look at that move. That would be a penalty in the NFL. And look, Valanciunas has hurt his wrist clearly from that. That is a disgrace by Tyler Hansbrough. It is, and that's not the only. That's not the only incident of that here. Let's have a look here. He's absolutely clobbered Dwayne Wade. I know this is going back to the playoffs last year, but have a look at this foul. That's a flagrant 2. That is an absolute hacks move, and there's no place in the game for mine. No place at all. But Michael, you'd think that's enough, wouldn't you? But let me just paint a bit more of a picture of this man's character for you. Yes, it's his brother who he's sticking up for, but have a look at him here in the yellow. Look at him go in to have a go here. That's unheard of that you'd have that much unwanted aggression. That's not good aggression, Michael. That's not good aggression at all. Yes, he's sticking up for his brother, but this guy didn't mean to elbow in the face. We'll see here another close-up. Watch Tyler in the key. The elbow comes back from the Cleveland player here. That's Tyler's little brother who's gone down over nothing. And clearly the Cleveland players put his hands up in the air. Didn't mean anything. But look at the big tough guy Tyler. Look at big tough Tyler come in here and try and be an absolute hero. He is not a hero. He's not a hero in anyone's books. He is a hack. He's an absolute hack. And he is done in the NBA for mine. He can't play. That is foolish, foolish, foolish behaviour, Michael. He's a hack. And he has no right to act the way he does. None at all. He's a bully. And he has no game to back it up. He's a disgrace. He is.
Look, I think you're right there. I think he's definitely gone overboard.
That is... I hate... Outside the rules of the game, we love the game of basketball. And don't get me wrong, I love a bit of rough stuff. I do. I love contact. I love the rough stuff. It's really good to watch. But that's not basketball.
No, it isn't. And look, you don't like to see that in basketball. I mean, it's a fair sport, and no one goes out there to deliberately try and elbow and hit people. And look, it's not a good image for the game.
I showed the old ones with Wade and that as a bit of context. The recent one with Valanciunas, where he's clearly injured his wrist there. He was out because of that. He grabbed him and pulled him straight into the ground. Well, it's not grass that he's falling onto. It's a hard basketball. It's hardwood. So I mean, what does he expect to happen there? And why would you do that?
I don't know what would go through someone's head to do that. I can see why you're so angry.
Oh.
If you played that to me, geez, you could you'd be fairly pissed off.
Valanciunas, his wrist is done. If it wasn't, he should have got up and clocked him because, seriously, he's gone outside of the rules of basketball with that. And I know it's not assault, and I've said this before, but in the sporting world, that's as good as a criminal offence.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all.
Not good at all. But I'll try and calm down for you. I'll try and just calm down a bit. As I said, bring it down a bit. We're going to bring it right back up with one of my favourite segments, Caney's Royal Toast. I'm not sure if you've seen it in the past, but what I do is I go through and I normally give a player or a team a bit of a pump up for some of their work, and someone who sort of hasn't really received the plaudits and the praise in the media that that they deserve. And I think our inaugural winner was Steph Curry and the Warriors, and we go through and we talk about guys like that. But this week, another bit of a twist on this. I'm actually going to give it to a thing, not a team or a player, a thing.
A thing. Wow.
It starts
Must be a good thing.
It is. It starts with E, and it's called effort. Effort with a capital E, and it's something that almost is underrated in sporting terms. I think, you can have all the skill in the world, but if you don't have any effort, that means nothing, does it?
No, it certainly doesn't. You like to see players with the skill and the fancy stuff, but sometimes it can be lazy.
I'm a big, not follower, but I'm a big lover of the guys with a bit of fight and a bit of mongrel, and all they do is they go out there with maximum effort every night, and they get the absolute 100% out of their body and their ability. I'm going to show you 2 examples now of something that where bad effort, which is no good, which you don't like to see, and something absolute amazing effort. And I think you'll be a bit surprised with who we talk about with the positives there. But let's have a look at the footage now. This one here is not the way to go about it. The Phoenix plays here. Kevin Durant steals the ball away, and look at the effort from the Phoenix guys. There isn't any, Michael.
No, it certainly isn't. You could defend better than that.
They just wander down the court, watching it, thinking the inevitable is going to happen. But this is the way to go about it. Gerald Henderson. The ball is stolen out of his hands here. You think, oh, Jody Meeks is away here. But no! Big Gerald Henderson backs up his work. That is effort with a capital E. Good on you, Gerald. So, Michael, Caney's Real Toast this week goes to effort with a capital E. That's the way to go about it.
Geez, doesn't look good. Oh, that's just, you thought they were away. You thought you had it, and bang. No, you don't.
Well, how many times do you see that exact situation where the guy who's just had the ball, or the team who's just had the ball stolen off them, they just wander back and pretty much give up the 2 points. But you love to see that type of effort, and yeah, deserved.
Oh, definitely.
Well, Michael, that brings us to an end. What are your thoughts on your first episode?
No, look, it's good to get out of the way. It's been good. I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I've been a bit nervous, I suppose. It's the first episode, as most people are, but it's good to be on the couch.
Oh, you haven't been able to notice it all, Michael. The viewers, for you guys at home, you'll be with us for the rest of the week for our AFL and EPL show as well.
Yeah, I think Tim's going to be away still on his trip, so I'll drop in and put my thoughts up.
Expert comments as we went through before. But it's been a pleasure, Michael. And any final words?
Look, if you don't hear it here, it didn't happen.
Quint.